Well, we're in the engine compartment of a 1969 Camaro SS style car. Really a great looking car. I just got a chance to go over this for a couple minutes. I'm going to present it to you and pick out everything that I can see. It appears to be a 350 small block Chevy engine. It does have a dual plane aluminum intake manifold on it, a 600 vacuum secondary Hawley carburetor, set of custom aluminum valve pan covers, has a set of appears to be 1.5" long tube headers that are coated. Real nice set of headers for these cars. They really produce a lot of horsepower and a lot of torque. The air cleaner for this does match up to the cowl induction style hood that is on this vehicle. And it is the correct air cleaner for this style of vehicle for a 69 like Z28 style car. It does have the rubber seal that mates up to the hood, so you do have an actual ram air effect with this system that's on here now. A chrome alternator, which appears to be brand new. The heater is still hooked up and functional for the passenger compartment of this vehicle also. Tied onto the fender well just the way it should be. Again, the chrome alternator, brand spanking new. Looks like someone just put it on, new belts on it to go along with it. It does have power steering and power brakes. Power brake booster, you can see, is cadmium plated and absolutely new, just recently replaced. Also a new master cylinder and a new proportioning valve. And in addition to that, it appears that they replaced the brake lines themselves with stainless steel aftermarket units. Real great addition to this thing. 4-pass aluminum radiator polished on it. Correct fan shroud to go along with it. It does have a solid mount 4-blade fan. New battery. New bushings in the front end. Somebody's really gone over this car. This thing's really a nice car. Radiator core support's undisrupted. Doesn't look like there's ever been any trauma whatsoever on the front end of this vehicle. Just as fresh and nice as could be. Under hood pad that would have been an option in 1969 for a Camaro. And the bushings on the front A-arms, at least the top ones, are replaced with brand new bushings and ends also. New shocks evident on top here. The fender wells are just the way they should be. They're just like a satin, semi-flat black, not gloss black, but a semi-flat black paint on them. A firewall the same way, and the cowl tag still intact on this vehicle, and nice and legible from what I can see. These motors made, out of the box, they made like right at 300 horsepower, certainly with the addition of the Hawley and an aluminum intake, which is a much better design than GM had previously on these vehicles, plus the long tube headers. I'm sure that this thing is somewhere in that 350, 360 horsepower range. It does have a little bit of a aftermarket cam in it. Nothing really totally radical, but a nice sounding stick in it. Great engine compartment. Everything is as clean and nice and well kept as you would ever hope for a car of this caliber. And we're going to go around the rest of it and see what else we can show you. Hi, you're at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida, and today we're going to present to you a 1969 Camaro in a convertible. 69 is probably the most iconic of all the 3-year run for 67, 8, and 9. It's a favorite of most people the last year, 1969. It is a little bit bigger car than a 1967 or 68. But has a lot of amenities to it, a lot of different features in a 69. This guy is a very nice looking car. Let's go over it. You can see the gap on this thing. This should be easy to see in the video too, because it's a black car and it should really show up any deficiencies or any marks or anything on the vehicle. But you can see that the gap around this thing, clean up to the cowl area, across the nose of this, and down the side. There's an 1/8 of an inch precisely the whole way. You will not find better fitting hood to the fenders, to the front fascia than this hood is. It's spot on. Paint on this car is just absolutely stunning. It's just absolutely beautiful. There's no dents or deviations, and it's really easy to see on a black car too. And I don't see absolutely anything. Cowl induction hood, of course, and it is a functional column induction hood also. Correct air cleaner with it, and it is open in the back just the way it should be. Camaro designation on the front, and again, the fit and finish and alignment of everything on the front of this vehicle is as nice as you will ever find. Hard to find them with this degree of perfection. Grill area, the plastic is really nice, no pieces broken or chipped. The anodized aluminum that surrounds the grill area itself is all really nice. Even your end pieces are all intact yet. This is satin black the way it should be. Bumper fitment in the front. That baby is spot on. That you will not make a bumper fit any better than that does. Marker lights, parking lights in the front valance are just crystal clear. No pull marks on the valance anywhere. Spoiler on the front just the way it should be for an SS car. Really a great looking car. I can't see anything at all on the front end of this car that's out of line. Absolutely nothing. This is as nice a front end of car as you would ever see. You know what? I just did find something. There's a couple little tiny marks here we're going to have to get our dent guy to give a little tweak. Apparently somebody used their knuckles to close the hood at one point in time. You won't see them in the video, but they're there, and they're going to be removed before this car ships. So we have a dent guy that's just the world's best, and he's going to come in and take care of that. So let's get down the side, see what we can find for you there. Okay, driver's side of our 69 Camaro. Side marker light, and again, the chrome around this thing is just impeccable. There's just absolutely no patina, pits, or anything evident whatsoever. Fitment of the valance to the front fender is just as sweet as you'd ever want to find. The wheel lip molding, nice and flush mount the whole way around, and just as nice as you'd ever want to find. Camaro designation on the side of it. Wiper arms are the correct arms. The blade should be polished. Actually, the arms should be argent to match the blades. The blades are correct. The arms themselves are polished stainless. So the blades are correct, but the arms are incorrect for 1969. But now we're getting really picky. The windshield is a tinted windshield. Looking down and through the windshield in the front, the padded dash is absolutely flawless. There's no marks, no cracks, deviations, warpage, fading, nothing. The dash where it transitions onto the base of the windshield, it looks like the day this car was manufactured. Someone's taken a lot of care to clean that and make everything just as spot on as you could possibly make it, and that one is. That is as nice as you will ever find. Wiper alignment's real nice. Trim around the front glass. No marks, no dingies, no nothing in it. Front fender to the door, fitment to the rocker panel, just as nice as you would ever want to find. You could not find one fit any nicer than that. Rocker panel molding, there's no dents or deviations in it that I can detect. Yeah, it's just as nice as you're ever going to find. The glass alignment on the side, you can see where the window glass for the driver's door mates up to the rear window is just as nice and precise as you'd ever want to find. The wipes, whiskers are real nice. They're not worn out at all. Really in great condition. Obviously the convertible top is new. There's no marks or tears or little pulls or anything on it anywhere. It's as nice a one as you will ever find. Correct mirror for the 69 model on the driver's side, and it has a mate on the passenger side also. New door handles, no patina whatsoever. They're just as nice and fresh as you'll ever find. Door to quarter panel, again, you know, this is just the nicest fitting 69 we've had for a long time. That we don't have to go back and really adjust anything. This thing is spot on. The wheel lip molding in the back the same way. Tin on the fenders, nice and sharp. No Bondo, no filler, no nothing. It's all tin on this car. Rear marker light, the same as the front one, absolutely brand new. No patina whatsoever on it. Trim around the back window, which is plastic in this car. And if you notice, it's stretched. There's not even a little deviation to the point where it looks like it's glass instead of plastic. Most of the time you see a little warpage or a little bit of a sag. This has none. This is as nice a fitting window as you'll ever find in a convertible, ever. Also looking down into the well area where the top goes down, that's all nice and sealed up, and it's black vinyl, just the way it should be. Rally wheels. Set of 15-inch rally wheels with BFG, white letters on them, really accentuate the top with the white letters. Really look good. Really look good on this car. And that's the preference of everyone. And it does have the correct high-style hats for the center caps, and the trim rings are just as sweet and nice as could possibly be. Great looking addition to this car, you know, is a set of rally wheels. Going around the back, see if we can find something there, because there's certainly nothing to point out on the driver's side of this car or the front other than those couple of little tiny knuckle marks. That's it. Okay, rear of our 69 Camaro convertible. Again, I wish you could see the degree of fitment and the paint finish on this vehicle. It's really difficult to see on a video, but the paint absolutely not be any nicer than it is at this point. It's just absolutely beautiful. Fitment of the rear deck, you can see, same as the front. Spoiler, the same way. Everything lines up just the way it should. Gap the whole way around this thing is just as sweet as could be. Rear valance on this is just as nice as you'd ever want to find. The tail lights and the backup lights just as nice and clear as they were when they were new, nice and shiny. Bumper fitment in the rear, same as it was in the front. Somebody spent a lot of time fitting this guy up because everything is precise on this car. Bumperettes that go down, same way. Beautiful fitment on them. Has a set of conventional pipes that go out the back like a 69 should. Slash cut just the way they should be. The rear valance doesn't have any pulls on it. The paint is absolutely stunning on it. And the fitment on it is just as nice as it was on the rest of the car. There's absolutely nothing I can find on this car that's nothing that's out of line. This is as nice as you're ever going to find a Camaro. 1, 2, 3. We got one more side. Let's see what we can find there. Okay. Passenger side, our last side here. Same thing. Absolutely no patina whatsoever on the side marker lamp. Tin, just the way it should be. No Bondo whatsoever. Trim around the back surround, the base of the convertible top. No marks, no deviations. Just as nice as you'd ever want to find. Again, the paint on this car is just outstanding. It's just, I can't get over the finish, how nice it actually is. And the fitment of these, usually there's a little bit of a hangout somewhere or another on these wheel lip moldings. This one has none. I can't even get my thumb between any of it. It's really as nice as you'll ever find fitment-wise. Again, you can see the way the glass and the rear window line up on this vehicle. Just as nice as you could possibly do. A lot of times, you'll see one of our videos and the top is down. We've done it different ways, and the windows being down also, but we're going to start doing them now with the windows up and the top up. That way you can see that the top fits as it should, and the condition of the top, and you can also see the windows, how they fit. We've had a couple of these cars that we did a video on, and the windows needed lined up. You know, we didn't know that because we did the video and the windows were down. Well, once you put them up, they misaligned. So we had to send it out and spend some extra time before we shipped it off to a customer to make sure that it was lined up correctly. This, you can see, is that way to start with. Just as nice as you'd ever want to find. Again, the door. Look at this door. Totally amazing. Handle, same way. No marks, it's brand spanking new. Right-hand mirror, that's a fantastic addition to any of these cars. They didn't come with them. They were an option actually in '69, but most of these vehicles, the driver's side had a mirror, the passenger side did not. Great addition, because all the cars in today's world have a right-hand mirror on them. Again, there's a little tiny dinghy here. Another little tiny one here. Certainly nothing that you'd want to replace, and you probably won't even see it in the video, but it's there. On the that striker plate that goes along the bottom of the rocker panel there. Look at this. Totally amazing. Totally amazing. I can't believe the fit and finish on this guy. This is really something. The paint on this car. Again, Camaro on the nose. Trim around the window on this side, same as the other side. Look, 1/8 of an inch the whole way. Voila. And this is our 4th wheel lip molding, and it's just as precise as the other 3 were. Fitment of the front valance up onto the base of the front fender, just as nice as you'd ever want. There's no deviation whatsoever. Side marker lamp, and we're back where we started again. 69 Camaro. These things are very iconic cars. Everybody's in love with them. It's just like, you know, some people like Roadrunners, some people like Cudas, Mach 1 Mustangs. You get a Chevy guy and a 69 Camaro, that is one of the first cars that comes out of his mouth when you say, what do you like a Chevrolet made? There it is. 69. We're going to go over the interior for you. It has a deluxe interior in it. This car's been done to as near perfection as you could ever hope to have a car done. It's got a nice set of correct style rally wheels on it with BFG radials. Great color combination, white top, black car, red in. Appears to have tinted glass actually all around. I'm going to call these side windows tinted also. They appear to be a little smoked too. So you watch me go over this entire car. Found a couple little knuckles that you won't see, but we have to have addressed before we ship the car. I didn't detect anything down the sides. Everything is laser straight. The doors could not possibly fit any better, or the deck lid or the hood, than they are now. That is as precise of alignment as you could possibly hope for in any of this era vehicle. This is a great representation of a 69 Camaro. It certainly warrants your attention at the Hankster's website in Daytona Beach, Florida. It's going to be very nominally priced for the vehicle quality that you're getting. I believe it is an SS car. We don't have any documentation to prove one way or the other, so we'll take a look at the underpinnings once we have it up on a rack. I haven't been under this car yet, but that'll give us a little better indication of what we have as far as the way the car originated. But this is as nice a 69 Camaro that you will ever find. And it's in a convertible, and it's available at Hankster's in Daytona Beach, Florida. Hi, we're inside of our 1969 Camaro convertible. Black, white top, and guess what? Red interior in this thing. Fantastic car. I just took a minute here to go over it and look at it, and I can't believe the condition of the interior in this car, and a lot of originality to it also. Like no one spray canned any of the framework, but it doesn't need done around the convertible top. It has new pads on it and a new liner. The top is just as nice and taut as you'd ever want to find. Back seat, front seats, there's absolutely nowhere. I'm sure they've been redone, but they still retain their original not sewn molded headrest, which were original. The armrests in the back, there's no wear or fade or anything concerned with them. It does appear to have the original window cranks in the back. These are replaced in the front. They have black knobs. The ones in the rear are, they're supposed to be clear, but they turn yellow after age, and that's what those guys have done. But again, originality. You don't want to change something that is original. Console car with the correct staple shifter. Seatbelt holders, and it does have seat belts front and rear. Both ends of this car have seat belts in them, so there's 4 seat belts in it. Dashboard, no cracks, no fading, no deviation whatsoever on the padded dash. Gauge cluster itself is nice and crystal clear. There are no cracks in the steering wheel, none. And it's the original style plastic wheel that these cars came with, 2 horn buttons on it. Trim around the dash itself is just as sweet and nice as you would ever hope to have it. It's just really a nice looking, really a good looking car. Everything on this thing appears to be fresh, just the way it was when the car was produced new. Let's see what else we can find for you. There's no issues with the console. It does have a glove box in it that still functions. And these appear to be the correct seat belts for the car, too. The carpeting is the original style loop carpeting that came with the deluxe interior. It's in great condition. I can't tell if it's original or if it's been replaced. I'm going to say it's been replaced because I don't detect any fading whatsoever to it. Door panels in the front are just as nice as you'd ever want to have. The armrests are the molded style armrest also that would have been released with this car when it was new. Door handles to release the locks. Again, just as absolutely fresh chrome as you could possibly hope to find. Grab rail in the front the way an SS car would have. No fading whatsoever on the mirror itself. You know, there's no milkiness or anything. It's just a beautiful mirror. Day-night mirror also. I didn't notice that, but it is a day-night mirror. It does have the original sun visors on it. I'm sure they're original. And this one's okay. The stitching is starting to come in. The stitching after a few years, quite a few years, starts to deteriorate. And this one has started that. That one's fine yet. This one needs to be re-sewn, and I think we can get Dale over at the upholstery shop to take care of that for us. But other than that, it's hardly detectable, but it is there. I don't know what else I can... This thing is as new a car as you'll ever find. Everything appears to work in it the way it should. Original AM radio that this car was released with. I don't know if it works or not, but Devin and I will find out when we go for a ride in it. Interior in this car mimics the outside of it. It is just as spot on as you will ever find. New rubbers inside the doors, your door seals, and on top too. Everything is new rubber, new seals, so you're not going to have any leakage problems. This car is as nice a Camaro as you could ever find, bar none. This is a real exemplary. Don't see anything at all on it. This is the most exemplary Camaro that we've had for a long time that's in this overall condition. I mean, we go through quite a few of them, and 69s are hard for us to find, and they're the most popular, and they last the shortest period of time. They're gone. So this is something that you really have to take a look at Hangsters in Daytona Beach, Florida. We're going to do an undercarriage yet for you and a drive, and then you'll have all the information you need to make a decision on this car. But don't wait too long, because they don't last very long here. 69 Camaro. Horn. It works. The convertible top, you can hear it go up and down. You hear the motor work, and I know it works. Jesus. Wipers working. Try our radio. That's probably a wish, but it's original equipment, AM radio, but obviously it doesn't work. Gee, there's a surprise. Gas gauge is functioning. Shows a half tank of fuel. Left turn signal working as it should. Right turn signal working as it should. We don't have any auxiliary gauges. We'll check the speedometer here in a minute, but let's go for a ride, see what this guy rides like. We hear a tailpipe rattling. I don't know if you hear it or not, but I kind of thought it was pretty close whenever it was on the rack, but that's something we have to address if you hear a rattle. That's the left rear of the tailpipe, right where it goes past the spring, the rear spring, between the quarter panel and the rear spring. We have to take that and address it, move it over just a tiny bit. Nice car, speedometer working as it should. That's nice and straight. Nice running car. Shifts nice and firm shifts in it. Let's get up off this tilted road here and we'll let go of the steering wheel. Oh, wrong direction. There. Let go of the wheel. No hands. Go straight as an arrow down the road. Let's try it. No hands, brakes. No hands, brakes. Perfect. Nice tight car. You never know it was a convertible. I mean, there's no no shake, no rattle, no nothing out of it, other than our tailpipe that we have to address. But other than that, this car runs and drives. You can go anywhere you want in it. I mean, it's solid. It goes down the road the way it should. Boy, that fire pipe makes some racket, doesn't it? Holy shit. Just like it should. Nice running 350. I gotta watch. We're running up to about 65, 70 mile an hour there. I get caught one more time, I think I get the death penalty in Volusia County. So we're in a 35 mile an hour zone. Nice tight car, look. Much nicer you can make it. Well, we're underneath our 69 Camaro convertible, black, white top, red in. And first I've been under this car, so you're going to see it firsthand, the same as I am. Really clean car. New rotors in the front, new backing plates, new calipers, new brake hardware. Sway bar bushings are polyurethane. It's got polyurethane bushings for the sway bar, but they left them rubber. They replaced them and left them rubber for your upper and lower A arms, which gives you a little bit more resilience. It's not as hard to ride. It does have a sway bar on it. Another indication it may be a real SS car. Front wheel disc brakes. Another indication. Cast aluminum oil pan. It looks like the conventional, it's probably a 6-quart pan. Nice finned aluminum pan. I haven't seen one like that for a while. It's a pretty neat pan. Conventional starter on it, not a gear reduction. Again, 1.5 inch, 1 5/8. I'm not really sure what the tube diameter is. Going into 3-inch collectors that transition into 2.5 inch huge pipes that have an H pipe in them also, by the way, a crossover pipe. Gives you a little bit more mid-range and top-end power. No leaks whatsoever. You can see that evident on the oil pan itself, or when we were upstairs you could see the valve pan covers. Nothing was leaking at all in this engine. Timing chain cover, nothing. One little tiny drip. It's not even a drip. It doesn't have enough air to drip. It's more of a smudge from oil. It could be residual oil from whenever this thing was still put together. It's hard to say, but certainly nothing that we're going to even call a leak at this point. Transmission pan itself, no leakage whatsoever, absolutely none. Turbo tranny in it. Steering box appears to be, I don't know, I'm going to call it a replacement. It looks like it's been replaced. Big, nice, heavy-duty Pitman arm, idler arm appears to also have been replaced on it. It's fairly new. Your tin fender wells that come down, thankfully no one has made an attempt to jack them up on that and distort them or bend them. They're just the way they were when they were new. Subframes, you can see, are just totally free of any corrosion or dents or dings or anything. It's just as nice a set of subframes as you'd ever want to find in a Chevy. The floor pans on this vehicle are the original floor pans. I don't see any place that they've been replaced. The pinch welds are all still evident. You can see where they're pinched the whole way across, and the pinch welds on the rocker panel, same way. So we're going to call those original floor pans. Crossover structure for your rear transmission mount is just, again, dent-free, no leak whatsoever on the tail shaft area, new universal joint. Parking brake, still the original parking brake, and it's still hooked up, and I'm sure it's functional. This car, brake lines, new brake lines on this side. Fuel line on this side appears to be the original 3/8 line that came with this vehicle. It is a convertible, so it does have additional structural pieces that go on the floor pans themselves. The pans aren't dented up anywhere. The substructures are really nice and clean. there's absolutely nothing I can call this vehicle for. I can't even find a place. There's a little ding here. Somebody must have put a jack in and decided it was the wrong place and then moved it over here. There's a little bit of a ding in that floor pan. Not an issue. It's hardly even noticeable. I don't even know why I picked it out. It's just it is a little bit different than that side. A little bit of a curvature up, and you can see where the jack just pushed it up maybe a quarter of an inch. Rear pan's the same as the front. There's absolutely no deterioration whatsoever. Your torque boxes where your front part of the rear springs mount, again, to the subframe area, there's just absolutely no distortion. There's no jack marks denting them up, no deterioration, no oxidation of any kind on it. 2.5-inch pipes going into two Flowmaster mufflers. Great sound and exhaust system. Flowmasters and those turbo mufflers both have a real nice deep rumble to them. Not objectionably loud, but a real nice deep tone. We're over halfway through this car, and there's absolutely nothing that I can tell you negative about it. You can see no leaks on the entire driveline. We just had it for a run, and we pulled it out here on the rack, and you can see that there's nothing. The headers are nice. The exhaust system is all nice and clean on it. The floor pans are just totally undisturbed. It does have new shocks in the front also. I neglected to mention that. The springs are nice and taut yet in the front, and it has new shocks to go along with all the new underpinnings, the brakes and the sway bar bushings, everything. This car's been completely gone over. I mean, it's as well as you could do without doing a complete total rotisserie restoration on the car. And this one didn't need it, so you got a lot of originality underneath here. Let's do the back half of it and see what we can find there. Okay, back half of our '69 Camaro. Again, Flowmaster muffler's got a real nice sound to them. 2.5-inch. I'm going to call these guys 2 1/4, transitioning out of the Flowmasters and going into the two correct stainless steel slash cut brushed stainless exhaust tips that go out the back, correct for 1969. Multi-leaf rear suspension. Springs have a real nice arch to them yet. There's absolutely no sag whatsoever. None, absolutely none. Staggered shocks. So you got one in the front and one in the back to help compensate for that torque bias that these things produce whenever you launch the car. It does have a staggered shock rear in it, so that's another indication that it may be an SS car. Also, the heavy-duty multi-leaf springs, and guess what? The last thing that really shows it is an SS car. 12-bolt rear end. It's got a 12-bolt rear, which, by the way, has no leaks on it also. You can see that the thing is just leak-free. Another U-joint in the back, the correct style hangers, new brake lines in the back also. They must have replaced all the brake lines. Trunk area appears to be totally rot-free. There's absolutely nothing. It looks like the day it left the factory. Drop-downs and quarters are the same way. Spring hangers in the back, just as nice and fresh as you'd ever want to find. It appears to be the original gas tank also, but there's no dents in it, no deterioration. Looks like it still has the original fuel lines going into it also. A nice car. This thing has the pinch welds across the back of the rear valance. I can't see anything on this car. You know, I know this is very repetitive. You know, we go over these cars and we tell you, how nice they are. And although I pick out a lot of deficiencies in them too. If you watch the videos, you'll see that I pick the hell out of them sometimes. But this is one that I really can't, other than a couple knuckle marks on the hood that we have to get popped out. That's it. I can't find anything underneath it that would deter anyone from buying this vehicle. The undercarriage the same way. You can see it's totally leak-free. It does have 12-bolt. Every indication under this car is it's a real SS car. Again, we have no documentation to prove otherwise, one way or the other. But this thing indicates itself to be an SS Camaro. Fantastic car. Like again, I said, we try to present everything that we can to you. We try to show you everything. We're not trying to hide anything. And we encourage everyone to come down. Jump on a bird, come down. Look at this car. You can get under here with me. We can go over the undercarriage. We can take it for a ride. You can spend all day in a showroom looking at it if you want. Or outside, weather permitting. You can take a look at the vehicle and help you in your decision. We don't want to hide anything from you. We want to present everything to you exactly the way it is. And that's the purpose of these videos. So take a look at this one, because I think I spent a little bit more time on it than I should have, but it's that nice a vehicle. Take a look at it. Hanksters, Daytona Beach.